Hello, good evening, good morning. Let me put this music a bit low. Can you hear me all right? Hey Bhavya, hey Abhimanyu. Um, I hope you can hear me well. Um, I think the music is still very loud. And the one thing that 2 years of YouTubing has taught me is to keep your music low. Otherwise, people complain at your tutorials that, hey, can you please shut off the background music? Um, um, yeah, so this is the big announcement for today. I have a new Discord server, and uh, I just tweeted about it. I just put it on LinkedIn as well, and I have a blog post as well where I describe why I thought that was needed, and few things were going on in life. Just to be clear, it's just a server. I'm not starting a company or anything. I still love my job and love what I do. Just a place for me to hang out and have more conversations. But we'll talk about that later. Hey Sahil, thank you. Thank you so much. So let's get started. And I plan to do this every week. So around this time, and I hope that works. I will keep it crisp and short. So let's say about 30 to 60 minutes, unless let's say we're watching some documentary or something together, then we will stay for longer, but I'll keep my agenda short. I will invite more guests as well. I'll be doing a podcast very soon with a very good friends of mine. They're seniors and they're doing good things in education. They're famous as well. So we'll invite them very soon. We'll invite friends as well and people from the Discord server as well, and we'll talk about these things. So, but for those of you who are new, thank you for joining. Let me know how you found out about this, and that would help me out a lot. But again, my name is Himanshu. I live in Mumbai, India, and professionally, I'm a product manager, technical product manager. I know product managers have this image that they don't know anything technical, but I just updated my website and I fixed some CSS in there and updated some fonts and learned some Gatsby configs. So I still write code, and I'm that sort of product manager. But I used to be an engineer before, and everything is good. I work at Harness. Harness is an amazing DevOps company, software delivery company, and you can look it up. And I take care of one of the products called Internal Developer Portal. And and the reason why I'm at Harness is because I was at Spotify doing open source on Backstage.io, and that's how I got in here. So we'll talk about these things. But the reason I want to do this live streams is to. I did a poll earlier this week on what do people want to hear, backstage, platform engineering, developer experience, and a little bit about, let's say, product development, software engineering. So we'll talk about that. I write as well. When I was in college, I used to be part of this technology literary society. IT has a weird, especially KGP has this weird thing where every society has a prefix called technology. So let's say you're a dance society, your name is Technology Dance Society. That's a very weird name. In fact, the market that we had, the internal market, it was called Technology. What was it? TechM, right? Technology market. Yeah, there was not enough technology in that market, I can tell you that. But it was still called TechM. So anyway, I was part of this technology literary society and used to write. So I like to write from time to time. So few things that I wrote recently um, became popular. One of those things was why don't you move abroad? why did you move abroad? And I wrote about my own life a bit, not too in too detail, I hope. I wrote about how I, out of college, I went to Japan, I went to uh, Stockholm in Sweden, and then decided it's time to go back to India. And even now, when I tell people that I'm happy in India and don't want to move back, people don't understand what I mean. So I wrote that, and I got a lot of emails, a lot of messages, and how people relate to that. So I feel like these things need to be talked about. So yeah, what else? So yeah, I'll talk about those things here. Now let me talk about the Discord initiative that I have going. So why don't I share screen? Let me try. By the way, I'm using this thing called restream.io. It's amazing. So right now I'm streaming on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Twitter and Twitch, and I hope I'm doing that. So let me confirm if I'm really streaming to all these places. Let me just quickly check LinkedIn, right? Because I can see comments from YouTube, but I hope this is live on LinkedIn. Is it? Is it live? How do I see that? How do I see that this is going to LinkedIn? Let me check. Okay, LinkedIn is hard. Let me see Twitter. It must be there, right? Oh yes, it's live on Twitter, so it's good. Just a second, and I'll be back. Yes, it is. Okay. Um, so I was talking about the Discord initiative, and I'll share my screen because I've written yes, I'll. It's yeah. Uh, Everything is in one place, and that's why I decided to use this, because in OBS there are some extensions which can make this happen. But now I can post to all these channels, or I can just choose to reply on YouTube. It's amazing. Thank you, Dia. All right, let me share. Um, all right, can I share this window? Yes. So this would be the right mode, and now I can share a tab. Hey Agniva, good to see you. It was buffering, okay. Um, and thank you, Abhimanyu, for saying Harness is a cool company. Maybe you know them as well. Yeah, I know a lot of people at Harness. I'm a product manager, so that's what I do. I talk to people. I show up in people's calendars. So yeah, let me know whom do you know. All right. So I was talking about this, and here's a little bit of story on this. I try to make it entertaining, but these topics is what I want to cover right now. So let's start with first open source and the impact on career growth. So this is mainly, like, I've written this in this document, but I know a lot of people, and Naresh, if you're here, thank you for saying that earlier in Discord. It has changed a lot of people's life. It has improved and provided meaning for many people. Um, in fact, it goes beyond let's say regular programming. I was just watching Nikhil Kamat's podcast with Gan, who's the also known as Godfather of AI, and he was saying this that in the future open source LLM models are going to win. Open source AI models are going to win, and I agree with them. Even Mark Zuckerberg wrote a very interesting email to his board on why he's not doing AI in a proprietary way. So um, I agree. I think whenever the industry wants to do something on a very fundamental level, let's say operating system, let's say browsers, let's say the internet or programming languages, it has to be open source. Otherwise, you wouldn't see the adoption, and the software will not mature enough for it to be used by everyone. So I think open source will continue to exist, and there's some players like, uh, well, you might have heard some stories that there are companies who are building open core and not really true open source. And actually, Silicon Valley is filled with that. I was very surprised to learn that Silicon Valley is not where open source happens. It may sound like the center of innovation. Silicon Valley hates open source. Um, Hate might be a strong word, but they don't need open source. They have connections to build the product and get the money and do it. In fact, a lot of open source happens outside of Silicon Valley. Europe, particularly, all of these people that you might have heard of. Let's say, who's the creator of Python, for example. Just top of my head. A lot of science happens in Europe, and they move to these colleges, and some of these are Berkeley and Harvard and MIT as well. But I think Europe does a lot of open source in terms of innovation. India does a lot of open source as well in terms of contribution, but that's just sheer population that we have. I've seen really good projects from India as well. One of my favorite is karate. From Peter Thomas. He was a distinguished engineer at Intuit, and he started this and is doing great at his own company. Karate is a API testing framework. There are many more open source projects from India, but anyway, that being aside, open source is going to be big, and the one thing that I personally like about open source is that anyone can get started, right? And anyone can get started in a very meaningful way. So you can go ahead, you can help build a very large project, and you can climb that ladder, and you can fix, let's say, documentation first. You can learn about a feature, you can build newer things on top of it. So open source platforms are a great way to really learn and have some meaningful experience. Either you do that, or you, I don't know, solve lead code. How you solve like programming program challenges, which is good. As long as you're enjoying it, it's good. But I know a lot of people don't enjoy them. A lot of people are absolutely um, yeah, they don't find any interest solving algorithms and those sort of things, because they do it in a wrong way, and it's not a real world experience. So I feel open source must be done in college. In fact, I have a blog post about this as well. I talk about why should one do open source in college, and it's from 2020. So I write some reasons about why you should do this. You get to learn so much more. You escape the privilege barrier. Like, it's okay if you don't have computer science, if you're in the computer science department or not in the top colleges. You can still do it. No one's going to check what department and what college are you from before accepting your pull request. You learn to volunteer. That's a I think that's a very important skill. Like, you cannot do everything expecting something in return. You have to give and have some sort of altruism when it comes to that. So open source teaches you and gives you meaning for that. Oh, this one, I think a lot of people relate with this here. the toxicity that comes with competitive coding. It's inherent, like, what do you say, it's inevitable that if you do anything competitive, it's going to be competitive, and you will not be collaborative in that. While open source is exactly opposite. You learn how to collaborate, which is not easy. It's not easy to work with people, and but that's how science works. That's how we have, like, if you know, let's say, physics, and how the innovations have happened. You do something, you let others take that work and build on top of it. This is true for open source as well. And this is the time when you can actually find that passion for software engineering, because you'll build something and people will use it, and you will get that early satisfaction that what I'm building is useful, and then you will find some meaning. So I wrote about this. You can check it out later. So that's one of the things that I want to continue talking about. I want to continue emphasizing that open source is good and it has a great career growth. Here's another kind of interesting topic for me. Um, little bit of context here, that I did go to an IIT, but when I was in college, and sorry, when I was in Kota, in my room, I had the closing cutoff ranks of every IIT computer science department, and I had like 7 of them. And I think it ended at something around 500 rank, 700 rank, or something. Now it should be like 200. And when I got my result, I got 1549. That was my rank, and I started crying. I was like, I failed. This is so sad. I can't get computer science. And I remember my brother, he looked up about this course called mathematics and computing, and he was like, oh, IIT Kharagpur has it, Delhi has it, Guwahati has it, and the closing rank was 2500 last year. So he said you should go for it. You can get into IIT Kharagpur and you can still learn some computing stuff. Turned out it was completely wrong. There's no computing that you are taught in IIT Kharagpur's mathematics and computing. Um, and I went there, but I was still not in computer science. And I remember in my first year, I had a friend. It's a very interesting friend. He said, Himanshu, you should be in computer science. Why are you not in CS? And he was just mocking me that I couldn't score enough, score higher. So there is this stereotype that you get from not being in computer science. I know a lot of people from mining engineering, metallurgical, chemistry, um, electronics is still fine, but these uh, these students feel bad, and get stereotyped. What happened to this sound? What? This is AI generated music, and I feel like AI just shat on itself. Okay, I've changed the track. Okay, so talking about this, so the thing is, like 99.9% students are frustrated with Indian education system. They are told that they cannot do something, they cannot learn something, and that's how they start their life. There's a very interesting thing that I found out from one senior of mine. He runs a very popular YouTube channel right now called India in Pixels. Um, yeah, like about 1 million followers or something. And he said this. He went to MIT and he said, it's very different, man. Like in India, there, like in Hindi, there's a word sancha. So in India, there are molds that the system has, and it tries to carve out students using that mold. So okay, are you a CS person? So come back and do this. Are you a chemistry person? Are you this and that? While in West, it's more open. Like you get to pick your major in 3 years. You're not forced to do that. So yeah, I mean, I feel people are frustrated with this, and like, but it shouldn't come as a limitation in their career. Let me see if there is a better view here. Like if I do this, then like can I do side by side like this? Hmm. Is there a okay? I don't know if you can read. Maybe not. Okay. This is the this is the third topic. Um, Let me do side by side. I think that'll be better. And let me reduce the width of this window. These things are something that I'll have to figure out how to do well. Um, yes, sounds good. So I was talking about these two things. Okay, importance of education and science in life, especially in teenage years. So I'll be brief with this, and then I'll write about everything in detail. So what I mean by this is um, teenage years are very difficult. You just, especially in like modern age, with internet enabled mobile in everyone's pocket, with social media in everyone's pocket, and like you look at your friends, and you see that they're doing good, they're wearing better clothes, and they're richer than you, and you'll always find that. And I feel like there's a lot of confusion that happens in that time. You fall in love, you try to do really crazy things, and if people don't have like one objective in those, I would say 10 to 20, like that time frame, it's very easy to like fall behind in life, during that age group. I feel, especially in India, where there's a lot of generational poverty, people, like not making enough in the household, and the kids are there. I feel education is the biggest, probably, like the biggest way to break out of that poverty. It gives you focus, so that you don't get distracted by other things, which you can certainly do in your 20s. I mean, you should do sports and everything. I'm not saying that you should just sit in a room and just study, but that is what you should be doing, like 75% of the time. um, so I feel it's very important, especially for a country like India, and that's something I'll be talking about. Living in India versus abroad, fighting stereotypes and loneliness. This is an interesting topic. I know it's highly controversial. Um, I don't talk about this too much, but I've started to now. So when I was living, well, I don't want to say too many things right now, so I'll do that later. But let's say 20 years ago, India had very little opportunities. So a lot of people immigrated, moved to US, Europe, and wherever they can. And that was a good decision. I'm not saying that was a bad decision. Like, of course, you should find a place where you find opportunities. The India today is different. There's all kinds of opportunities. If you are talented enough, especially if you're a programmer, you can choose to live here and spend a very good life, and do a lot. So you don't have to move. And there's a little bit of fascination with moving abroad here, that if someone lives abroad, they are smart and they are talented and they are rich and whatever you might be thinking. It causes a little bit of god complex in them. So that's one. um, I feel uh, there's a lot of people who do this just because of those reasons, that they will find better opportunities. Either they go out to study or find jobs, but for a lot of them, not everyone, but for a lot of them, they compromise on their emotional side, and they struggle to make friends. They struggle to, stay happy, and there's a lot of reasons for this. I have written about it in my most recent blog post. You can read about it. It became like Hacker News #1 article. Why don't you move abroad? And not everyone agrees to that. That's fine, but I feel like majority agrees that today is not, like, you can be successful while living in a country like India. And it will continue to get better while I feel like people are moving back. There's a reverse brain drain happening. All of my friends that I know who live outside, and I know a lot of them. So, don't think it's just two or five. It's 50 plus people that I know of who live outside. They are planning to move back. So, they say that they don't want to have kids there, they don't want to get married there, they will move back. And it's a cash cow for them. They want to get rich, they want to, get better compensation and then move back. So that's a well known fact. And I love it. I think this is right. And so I want to talk about this. I want to talk about how to fight these stereotypes. And yeah, yeah. And I'll do that. Let me just check out this feature, overlay. Uh, it's very interesting. Yeah, okay. I'll see if this is useful, but I can have comments on screen. Last two, building products, understanding sales, marketing as engineers. So here's another favorite topic of mine. I was an engineer in college, but I was always very, very much interested in what am I building, who is going to use it, like the selling aspect of it, and not just taking money in return, but just getting people excited about what you're creating. And I feel that's something that a lot of engineers don't do, especially people in India, that they just write code and they don't want the limelight along with it. And this is perfectly fine, but you always have to sell yourself, you always have to sell your product. And I feel there's a little bit of sales and marketing that everyone should know. And it's very important if you're looking to build and take ownership of something. So I'm passionate about that as well. And finally, storytelling and importance of meaningful relationships. I think this is, like, a lot of people know this, but connections are the single most asset that you can be building right now. Connections change your life like that. All of my I've found jobs using LinkedIn, and like, knowing people. um, Something were to happen today, it won't happen, but if something were to happen, there are jobs and there are places and things that I can do the next day. um, if I have to learn about some things, I know people to reach out to. So you should be building those meaningful relationships. You should be talking to each other, like, you're telling your own story, learning about others. I think it's very important. So these are some of the topics we'll talk about in Discord, and that's the goal. So let me stop sharing. So okay, I've talked about Discord, but how to join? Go to my website. Why don't I put the link in chat? That would be easier. But you can go to my website or go to my LinkedIn, and you will find the Discord link right there. Let me find it. It's just hit an update. Yep, there it is. Copy link. I'll put it in the chat. Okay, so it should be everywhere. I'll show you how the Discord looks. So just a brief tour of that. Um, Let me share something else. Right. So this is the group that you'll join. For those who have not used Discord, what kind of people are you? But I'm sorry, Discord is good. You can stay here. You can chat on voice. You can chat on text, and it's a fun. It's like Slack, but only better for some things. As soon as you land here, you get added to all the channels. You can find some of the quick resources here. I have a channel called Welcome where I put the, let's say, the rules and FAQs and the purpose of this community and so on. This is for newer people who will join, not for those people who have already joined. And there's a resources channel where um, and this is something that I'm maintaining right now, but I'll soon start like inviting others to collaborate on this. So this is the list of essays, blog posts, books, videos, and like things that inspire me, that influence me, my understanding of the world, or amuse me so much that I want to tell you about it. For example, how to ask questions the smart way. This is an amazing article that I keep going back to. What is a hacker mindset? How to be a hacker? And Paul Graham's Life is Short is also very good. Some quick links about things, and here's the Discord invite link. If you want to come invite others, just come to resources, or you can actually do this, invite people, and I can share the link. So this is a resources channel. This is an announcements channel where anytime I'm live or I have a new content, I'll put this in there. Ask me anything. So this is a place where you can ask me anything, or ask like any of the VIPs. I'll tell you more about the roles in a second, but this is a panel. This is the place where you can directly ask questions. This is general chat. This is for whatever things that you want to use. Just share things, ask questions, or any sort of conversation that you want to have. You can also say that, hey, I'm hiring, so I need to hire people, and people will see that. I would encourage not to put too much like, hey, I'm being um, yeah, I'm being I need jobs, because then there's a lot of people who need jobs. So please don't do that. What about introduction? So hey, thank you to Tushar, good to see you here, man. But this is a place where you can share your introductions about you, and just say hi, and yeah, thank you for being here. Today I learned is a great channel. Let's say if you learned something really good and you want to share with others, uh, like a blog post that you found, or the project that you found, please feel free to share here. And fun stuff, memes and other things. I am going to actually watch this, so we can watch this together at the end of it. It'll be really fun. There's some internal channels that I have. Now, a little bit about roles. So there are really two roles right now. There's a role called VIP. In fact, I've written this in here. Where is it? Oh, actually, I've written this in the doc. But VIP is anyone that I know personally and are influential in the industry. They're like either working, or a founder, or like some sort of engineering leader, or really talented people. So if you see any VIP on here, and if you see this pink like color in their text, it's someone important from my perspective. So listen to what they're saying. Moderator is the second role that I have, which is just some people I trust. I know them personally, and they will help me out here. Just manage this community, right? Right now it's a very small group, but I plan to expand moderator to, let's say, uh, overall, like, let's say 20 people, 20-25 people. Right now it's a small group of 3-4. So moderators help me manage this community, and they're also really really talented people. That's why I trust them. So listen to moderators as well. Not every VIP is a moderator, and like vice versa. And then there's rest of the people, right? Rest of the community. So it's really flat. And That's it. I mean, I can introduce more. Let's say if someone is interested in actively engaging and managing, just reach out to me, and we can create some newer roles. All right, so that's it. And there are some voice channels here, so that's the fun part. I have created 3 voice channels publicly. All the KGPNs would know, um, CCD, Chedis, and Subdup. So I will, from time to time, join these voice channels, and if you see me, feel free to drop in, and um, we can have some chat. So I'll do that. I'll try to do that every other day on evenings. And yeah, there's some private channels for VIPs and moderators. So that's pretty much it. And this particular video we'll watch very soon. All right. So let me. Okay, what am I sharing? I'm not sharing Discord. That's very weird. I thought I was sharing Discord, but turns out I don't. Okay, let me stop sharing. Uh, yeah, thanks, Bhavya. Yeah, some KGP stuff, old habits die hard. Okay, what else? Abhimanyu has a question. What are your views on AI when it comes to web development? Don't you feel that AI will beat most engineers and AI agents will eventually eat up coding jobs? It's very interesting that you ask. I wrote about I wrote a blog post um, about this. I feel like coding is, I don't know, like it's 20%, 30% of what any engineer does on a weekly basis, and the rest is just let's say the other stuff, like what happens after you have written your component. Like how would you test it out? How do you ship this to your customers? How do you call your APIs? How do you manage the state? How do you pass the states? How do your components impact each other? I do think AI will become really, really smart and will be able to generate really intelligent web pages. But it's more than that, right? Like it's also about managing consistency. Let's say you have your website and you want to manage some consistent UX. For example, anytime you are creating something, where is that create button? Is it on top left? Is it bottom right? And consistency matters. What are the apps that you use today? Like, let's say you use WhatsApp, you use Slack. There's a consistency on every screen, and since it's consistent UX, the users are not overwhelmed by every screen. Now imagine you're using AI to generate every screen, right? So who's going to manage the consistency, the branding, the standards of your application? Someone has to be able to be in charge of it. So I do think the AI will do a lot of things, but I believe this will just increase the amount of engineering jobs because it will become so easy to become an engineer, right? People will learn from AI and be more AI enabled engineers. So I don't think it will take up coding jobs, but AI enabled engineers will take up non AI enabled engineering jobs. So if you're not using AI today, you should. That's all I will say right now. But everyone is as clueless as me, man. So I can't say more. I still love my engineers. The engineers that I work with. I think AI cannot replace them. Right. Very important aspect of a good engineer, I believe, is how to handle legacy and tech debt. As a long way to get good with that. Agreed. There are comments where you see, do not touch this part of code because it might break, and that's true. So you have to navigate around it. It's the whole planning and the architecture, and how do you. Okay, so here's another thing. Writing code is one, but you have to maintain every code that you write. Now if your all of your code is being written by AI, how would you maintain that? Like, is AI going to be able to maintain its own code? it's difficult to say that. I feel engineers will have to maintain it, and like it's going to be even harder. In fact, there's a very good report recently from Google, State of DevOps, where we looked at that the efficiency of engineers who are using AI to write code, like co-pilots, have actually decreased. It's very interesting. So I don't think co-pilots are nothing else but providing you boilerplates and just doing the boring part of coding. That's all they're helping with. But your job is, as an engineer, as a really good engineer, is safe. Like if you're able to talk to business and talk to product and talk to your customers, you're still safe. Or if all you do is just take requirements and build it, yes, you should be worried a little bit, because that's something where AI can come in. So let's say a senior engineer can, instead of me, if like, and this is actually something that started, right? What was the name of this startup? They were saying this is a junior engineer, and this was an AI model. um, so yeah, that's something. If you're just a junior engineer who's not engaging with the team and helping mentor students, your job might be in threat. uh, What is what is your opinion on AI having decision making capabilities? Currently, AI operates based on instructions given by humans, but do you think it will evolve independently make decisions in future? Yeah, this is a $1 trillion question. Um, I think it will be able to make decisions on itself for sure. You can have it run in autopilot mode. There's a very interesting person, a senior of mine. His name is Vikrant Verma, and he works in. I think he still works in DeepMind. Let me just quickly check. Vikrant Verma. He may not have a LinkedIn, but he talks about this a lot, and he's been working on this for past several years, like 6 7 years. So let's say you have an AI, and the job you give to this AI is that, hey, go make me a sandwich, right? Let's say you don't need house help, you can just have AI robots do this, and that's the incentive. So the robot will make a sandwich for you because it can do that. It's a very manual job to get the bread out and put it in the toaster, and let's say start your stove and put stuff in, and warm it up and put veggies and cut veggies. It will be able to do that. I don't know when, like maybe in 20 years, maybe 50, maybe 5. I don't know about that. But the thing is, there's a lot of things that are given in that instruction. So when you're saying go make me a sandwich, if if your baby is sitting at the ground, you know don't kick him, go around him, right? But AI might think that, hey, this is blocking, this is coming in front of my incentive, so maybe let me kick this baby out. And here's another interesting thought process. Imagine you get an AI to build you a house, right? So the job of the AI agent is to hire contractors, hire engineers, get things approved from government, design the house for you, get your approval, and do all the work, right? Like imagine you can hire an AI agent to do that. Now the incentive is build me a house in 6 months, and decrease my costs. Maybe the AI will start by killing you first, because if you're not there, then like the chances of the objective from failing has gone zero, because you are the person who will say that the objective is not fulfilled. So maybe it will do other crazy things. So how do you put boundaries into this decision making that humans make inherently? And I think this is a very difficult problem right now. What is intelligence, what is consciousness? Like these are 50-year-old questions that are in this industry. And yeah, it will take more time to really understand how humans get this sort of ethics in them, and how it doesn't have to be taught. Like there are very few psychopaths around, and they don't understand this, but most people understand that when someone is giving you a task to make a sandwich, they're not telling you to do whatever it takes to do that, right? So we'll get there. It needs a lot of research as well. Cool. But thank you, Agniva. Thanks for the questions. Yes, it was Devin. It has failed, I think. Devin is closed now. It was like a hype. Yeah. I think I heard some interesting things about that. Hey Sanjay, hey, thanks for sharing relevant knowledge on Backstage. I've watched your 3 hour video on Backstage. It helped me a lot to start my work on Backstage. I'm glad. I'm super glad to hear that. For those who don't know, I do have a long Backstage getting started tutorial, which anyone can use to get started with Backstage. It's an amazing open source project to build your developer portal. So you should be doing that. It has a great community. You can build plugins, build integrations. And I was a co-team member at Backstage at Spotify. Great to hear that it helped you out. So should we watch that video? It's a very interesting video that I found today. Let me open that. It's fun. I promise. And then we can close. Where is it? Share screen. Oh, okay. Too many windows open. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let me. What should I do? Should I keep this comment alive? But I feel I need to get a better extension to really. Yeah. What if I do this full screen? No, I think comments are taking a lot of space. What about this? No. I'll keep it like this. It's good. Okay. So yeah, this video is called "Interview with a Boomer CTO in 2023," and I found it really funny. So the channel is "Programmers Are Also Human," and thank you, Rajiv, for this link. Let me know if you're not able to hear audio or anything. I'll restart.
Oh yes, please. Please.
Building a one-man startup on AWS in the future.
Let me ask you. Have you used AWS? You need a whole team to set this up. No, you can't just use Heroku. If you want to have scalable projects, you're going to want to think about Kubernetes, Cassandra, Kafka, Spark. I have 35.5 years in the industry. Experience. I have done everything. Huge mobile apps, huge local-only web platforms, data integration, data processing, data knowledge, big data integration systems, holistic big data integration, edge computed, next-gen hybrid native systems, huge deficient data migration, distributed monolith platforms, cloud computed cloud services, load testing for data centers, data center testing for load centers, everything from Raspberry Pi to IBM Watson, from pacemaker firmware to NFT scam. I have used databases and Neo4j. Last year I did huge data migration project, and you know what it cost? 180,000 AWS credits. That's why we get paid the big dollars. Of course, it was never launched to the real world, only corporate internal project. Let me give you a metaphor. Facebook, hear me out. We want to store the data fail-safe, redundant, at the edge, hybrid native, cross-performant, distributed. at the edge, in the cloud, redundant. You got to think about processes, security practices, data management, data integration, deployment pipeline, processes, Redis, Jenkins, Postgres, Elasticsearch, continuous integration. Git actions won't get you very far. You need whole deployment team, DevOps team. You need DevOps guy available on call 24/7. Another guy for the rest. And the third guy, because you can't trust the second guy. Listen, JavaScript. You want to use something like Java. You want to use something that's really statically typed, file safe, like Java. Not like Rust. Rust is Playmobil right now. No integration, no adaptation. You need testing in place. I am talking about white box testing, black box testing, hot box testing, non-functional testing, endurance testing, spike testing, availability testing, stress testing, test testing. UI does not matter at this stage. You got to think about processes. You got to have processes in place. You want to first get your requirements correct. You need requirements manager, requirements managing process. You need whole team just for requirements, acquirements. And you need whole team to control that team. Another team to control that control team. You need whole team for deployment pipeline. Another team for integration pipeline. You need testing systems in place. V model, code implementation comes at the very end, usually done by one person. Agile? Agile. Agile is no good here. You want something that's stable. You need processes in place. I will tell you what you do with Agile. You look at your code, you look at the trash bin, you throw in the trash bin. Microservices, and then your code looks like Twitter. If you don't plan to sell your company, you don't use children's magic like microservices. What is this? Processes, verification, validation, V model, business requirements, systems requirements, high level, low.
Well, this is a CTO, so yes, agree. But the satire is that they do use a lot of these terms. And you have to know this as a CTO. I think the top comment here is, I have 27 years of experience, and this young man managed to summarize my work experiences as a joke. I'm seriously thinking of copying his speak for my next speech for the next job interview. This is the best joke of this.
Low-level, high-level design, coding, unit testing, functional testing, integration testing, scalability testing, system testing, acceptance testing. Yeah, but it works is not non-functional requirement. You need maintainability, reliability, scalability, localization, user acceptance, usability, compatibility, performance, scalability, acceptability, reliability, maintainability, portability, quality, safety. Mamma mia, what is documentation? Validation. You need verification. If you don't do that, you know what you do? You're doing code trashification. What can I do? Everybody uses file size systems. Amazon S3, Uber S3, Netflix S3. No, you can't just use that. You know what you're going to do? You're going to take S3, Docker, Kubernetes. You need whole team to set this up. And we did not even get to talk about databases. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Load testing, spike testing. UI comes after concept stage. I know I'm making all of this sound very simple, but you shouldn't be there to fix that. You should be doing all of this in concept stage. V model. In V model, you go forward a step, you go back a step, you fight a little bit, and so on and so forth, until user acceptance testing, OAT. Repeat, you will need a working plan. Remember, it's an acronym for V model, waterfall. Lean startup, and then your code looks like Twitter. Am I being too elaborate? What you got to do is take processes, V model, data integration, pipeline, requirements, acquirements, process.
Okay, so this V model thing, right? Actually, I was like, what is he talking about? So the V model is a concept. It's very interesting. So the concept is that first you write business requirements. Okay. So what product we need to build. Then we write system requirements. So let's say how will it behave? High level design, low level design, coding. Then you write coding, and then you write unit tests. So as soon as you write unit tests, now you're you're testing the low level design. Component test, you're testing the high level design. System integration testing, you're testing the system. And acceptance testing comes back to the business requirement. So this is the V model. Anyway, it's a very interesting. But it doesn't have to be taught in business schools or colleges. Like this. This is how software is built. So I find it very funny that these are concepts that that people know.
security practices, testing, deployment pipeline, DevOps team, whole testing team, testing processes in place, processes, operational acceptance testing, OAT. Repeat, acceptability, scalability, DevOps team. I know I'm making this all sound very simple, but you shouldn't be there to fix that. No problem, no problem. Yes, goodbye.
And this is super fun. Somewhere it
Three.
says you know high level testing, low level testing, and eye level testing. It was super fun. Yeah, so this is good. There's another channel that I follow called Krizam. So this is one of the real world coding driven comedy. I'll just play 1 2 minute video. um, this is the life of, let's say, a fresh engineer in Silicon Valley or even Bangalore. Someone who wants to do great in life and read books. And so yeah, this is called The Hustle, from Krizam. And then I'll end it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy.
6 a.m. Sunlight alarm goes on. I'm already up, high intensity interval training on the treadmill, catching up on my podcast. 7 a.m. Shower, AeroPress, email, but not before I read my blogs and journal about creativity. 8:30, I'm out the door. Pop into Ground Central, They Brew Stumptown. Order the pour over, wink at the barista. She doesn't notice. Metro, the queue's running late, so I hop on
Those who missed, just he was just trying to be cool, and then
I'm out the door. Pop into Ground Central, They Brew Stumptown. Order the pour over, wink at the barista. She doesn't notice. Metro, the queue's running late, so I hop on the 7-9 and do a back around at the transfer stop on 96th and Fullerton. Shave 3 minutes off the commute. I'm walking into the office when I get a notif. Insta, my favorite celeb just went live. Do I risk being late, or do I give up a chance to finally be noticed? Not a prob. Load the vid, post the perfect chat message. Right on time. Hey boss. 10 a.m. Office coffee, protein bar, dock the MacBook, dongle, YubiKey, I'm on. Time for stand-up. Back to the desk. Trick is, I'm always standing. Gotta install the latest security patches to stay compliant with corporate policy? On it. Check the Robinhood while I'm waiting. All red. Just what I thought. 11:30. News blast. Trump. I'm already on Twitter with a hot take. Then it's lunchtime. Vegan bolognese. Sit alone. No time for idle chatter. A moleskin and running positive affirmations is all I need. Next thing I know, it's 8:30 p.m. Time to call it a day. Back on the 7th, this time going uptown. Happy hour, alone. $11 gin and tonic. Another one. Feeling good. Don't talk to anyone. Check the Insta. 100 likes. Not bad, but I'll have better. City lights have my circadian rhythm screwed up. Gotta head home before it gets too bad. Back in bed. One chapter of Marcus Aurelius' Meditations on the Nook. Didn't understand shit. Tweet a quote just as the battery dies for the day. Perfect. Time for phase 1 of my polyphasic sleep cycle. Tomorrow's day 1 of my intermittent fasting routine. All in a day's work.
oh man, he's so brutal. He's so brutal. Read a page of Marcus Aurelius Meditations. Didn't understand shit.
One chapter of Marcus Aurelius' Meditations on the Nook. Didn't understand shit.
Tomorrow is day 1 of intermittent fasting.
Basic sleep cycle. Tomorrow's day 1 of my intermittent fasting routine.
Oh, it's fun. All right, so thank you everyone for hanging. And see you next weekend. And hope you join Discord, and we'll catch over there. And I would like to close this with one song that I've been listening lately. So I'll close with that. It's a Hindi song, and let me find a link to that. Opening Spotify, and this is a good part about live streaming, that you can play songs. I cannot upload videos with songs in them, right? Like, but live streaming, I can do whatever I want to. Um, so, and yeah, if you have any other thing that you want to ask, or things that you want me to do here in the live streams, feel free to share. Otherwise, enjoy with this song, and see you next week.
मैं आ लिखूं तो आ जाए, मैं बैठ लिखूं तो आ बैठे, मेरे शाने पर सर रखे तू, मैं नींद कहूं तू सो जाए। मैं आ लिखूं तू आ जाए, मैं बैठ लिखूं तू आ बैठे, मेरे शाने पर सर रखे तू, मैं नींद कहूं तू सो जाए। जला एक ऐसी नज़्म कहूं, जो लफ्ज़ कहूं वो हो जाए। मैं दिल लिखूं तू दिल थामे, मैं गुम लिखूं वो खो जाए। मैं आह भरूं तो हाय करे, बेचैन लिखूं बेचैन हो तू, फिर बेचैनी का बे काटूं, तुझे चैन जरा सा हो जाए। अभी ऐन लिखूं तू सोचे मुझे, फिर शीन लिखूं तेरी नींद उड़े, जब काफ लिखूं तुझे कुछ कुछ हो, मैं इश्क लिखूं तुझे हो जाए। असरुसाने दिल बरम्याने, दिल बरम्याने, बोझुनुंदवाने दिल बरम्याने, दिल बरम्याने, असरुसाने